Change the way I eat, change the way I felt so I could change the way I speak. I stopped listening to music that was changing how I think. Then I put the liquor down, was time to change the way I drink. Please don't take it personal, I'm taking care of me. Stressing about my future, it was messing up my sleep. Accepted all my losses, gave myself the space to grieve. Finally changed the things I wanted, now I know just what I need.
Welcome to Becoming Her, a space for the woman who is ready to heal, grow, and step into her next level. Here, we talk healing, transformation, and the journey to becoming the woman you were always meant to be. I'm your host, Ashley Martin, and together we are becoming. I am so excited about today, so excited. And the reason why I am excited, well, let me just start off and say this. I do not believe that some encounters are random. I believe in divine alignment and in divine connections, of course. And today's guest is one of those women. Before we dive in, like I said, I want to give her a proper introduction because this is a woman who is so graceful and leaves just a beautiful indentation and imprint on every space she's in. Meet Kelly Simone Rembrandt, the powerhouse behind the Web Bar LLC, where strategy meets soul and branding. As a master designer and branding specialist, Kelly helps businesses and visionaries show up with excellence, offering services from graphic and web design to marketing, podcast support, and publishing guidance. With over 20 years in education, she currently serves as a fashion, marketing, and merchandising instructor in Columbia, South Carolina, bringing creativity and innovation to the classroom. Beyond the classroom, Kelly is a creative soul who loves fashion, jazz, fitness, and travel. She's a proud member of the AKA Sorority Inc. and Junior League of Columbia, South Carolina. She lives by the mission to inspire, empower, and elevate others to become a trailblazer in their own right. Please give it up and welcome my special guest, Kelly Rembrandt. Kelly, thank you so much for saying yes.
Ashley, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be on your show today.
I want to share this story briefly, but the way Kelly and I met was divine. It was divine alignment for sure, but it was like synchronicity. Synchronicity because I remember sitting at Starbucks, and on that particular day, I left my earbuds, and I never leave my earbuds at home, right? And so you were sitting there, you came in, I had been sitting there for like an hour, but you came in, you sat beside me, and for about 45 minutes, when Mia came, you guys talked, and then I was working on various tasks, and I just pulled out my podcast book, because it was just an idea, right? And after about 45 minutes of Kelly and Mia sitting and talking, I leaned over and I said to Kelly particularly, I was like, what did you just say? And she gave me the look like just what is she talking about? And that was the beginning of not only a sisterhood connection, but just a divine interaction. That day, we had the most healing conversations, you, Mia, and I. We had just a soulful exchange. And so I am so grateful for the synchronicity and just for you being open to just accept me into your world, because it was definitely one of those things that I'm like, this was only God. And I think all of us felt that way that day. So thank you again for being here, for saying yes. And I have some questions that I want to ask.
Yes, I'm excited.
So let's go ahead and dive in. And so, like I said, that particular day that we met was a day that was not only just the synchronicity of it all, but just very sacred. And so I have a group of questions, and then and so my first question will be rooted in the sacred synchronicity, right? First question is, do you remember what you were talking about the day I awkwardly jumped into your conversation?
Absolutely. So I thought it was, I watched you when I came in because I was waiting for my client to arrive. And I thought, what a focused woman, right? Because you had all of your books out. I could tell that you were either working on a business or starting a business. And I guess that's just from working with so many clients. But when I met you, I was talking with my client. We were talking about self-care and how important it is to take care of yourself. And at that particular time, I was telling her, conveying to her how I had been working so hard on my fitness and nutrition all year. And then I had a big event that I was pretty much had so many hats I had to juggle at one particular time. I said I lost my way with my nutrition and my fitness. And I was telling her, I was like, I feel off, like, because I'm such a big, self-care is so big for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really feel off. And I said, but I've taken the time, and I said, I probably was like maybe 3 weeks in, and I was like, I feel like I'm making progress. And then you said, what did you say? And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I say? Did I say something that I did not realize I said?
Yeah.
And then I remember saying, my client saying to you, which is Mia, she said, no, you said progress. And you said, oh, I thought you said podcast. And then we kind of went from there. So, but we were really talking about the importance of taking care of yourself and being a self-advocate for self-care.
Yes, which are so important.
Yes.
So, with considering all of that, when you meet someone in a very random way, do you believe that it's ever random?
Never. I always I think people come into your life either for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. A lot of people come into your life for a reason. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just to say something kind to them or just have some type of interaction. Sometimes you're in the learning seat and they're in the learning seat. Sometimes it's a season of friendship, a season of connection, and then very rarely, but when you have those moments where you have the lifetime, you cherish those. So no, I never take it for granted when I meet someone. I think it's very important. I think everybody matters. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you met me and I, just being awkward, in my opinion, like just, what did you just say? What made you open to connecting with me? What was it that made you, open to connecting with me?
Without a shadow of a doubt, it was your beautiful spirit. Initially, you radiate goodness and you radiate warmth and love. And I was drawn to that immediately, which usually I am with people that I meet, that I connect with.
Yeah.
Yes, if I connect with them, usually they have like a similar kindred spirit.
Yeah.
And so I felt like we had a kindred spirit, and the way you articulated yourself. And you are great at communication.
Thank you.
Like sometimes you meet someone and they just give you, a couple of short lines, or they just answer the question. No, you answer the question. You give examples. You go very deep, and you give a lot of depth and you're very intentional when you talk and communicate with someone. Like this, the young people say, like, you leave no crumbs. Like you're
yes.
very expressive, and I love that. It just it makes you feel heard, it makes you feel seen, and it makes the connection stronger.
I appreciate that because oftentimes, I have been told like, oh, you're just so long-winded. And so I need to hear, no, you're being thorough, you're being detailed, you articulate yourself and communicate well. So thank you for that, for affirming me in that way.
Yes, you were very intentional. And that was the first thing that I noticed about you and that I really adored about you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The soul of a creative. Tell us about your journey. You just said it yourself, and I have it in my question. You wear so many hats and wear them just in a way that I'm like, how did she do that? People oftentimes ask me like, how do I, navigate like just being a mom with the amount of kids I have? But I'm like, you do so much. How do you navigate it all? I mean, you are a brand designer. You're an educator, brand strategist, business owner. How do you navigate that? And where did it all start?
Well, it started years ago when I was in Charlotte. I lived in Charlotte. And actually, no, that's not where it started. It started when I was getting my master's at Winthrop University. And I had, and I'm always really drawn to my professors and vice versa. They're drawn to me. So I always built really good rapport with my professors. And so this particular professor I was in a web design class. And he came to me, he said, Kelly, you really have a gift in web design. I built this web design on butterflies. I can't, we just had to select something and I really love butterflies. So I created this beautiful and amazing website on butterflies. And he said, you really have a gift and don't take that for granted. And so that was like, I call it like popcorn. You know how popcorn pops slowly?
Yeah.
It just gives you like one kernel here and then one kernel here. So that was the first kernel. And I was like, okay, I listened to him, but, went ahead and finished my master's. And after my master's, I was teaching multimedia in Charlotte. And my friends and other instructors, they would say, you really have a gift in this. And so they would start and ask me to come and do projects for them. And I would do them for free, like invitations or programs and those type of things. And so I moved here to Columbia and the same thing happened. And actually, I started on the AV ministry at my church. And so I would do the slides, and then I would also work the audio visual component. And people would come to the back booth and ask me to help them with their work. And so I did a book, I think for like $100, like a book cover. That was like my first real position. And then at one particular time, I had a girlfriend who was a part of Jack and Jill. And they asked me to do some branding for their annual Stilettos and Bows party. And I said, listen, I cannot brand Jack and Jill and not brand myself. So that was the birth of the Web Bar. And so that's pretty much where it started. But, I say that as far as my business, but I've been teaching business, multimedia, web design throughout my 21 years of teaching. So it kind of, and then the AV ministry of my church. But it was birthed through like the popcorn. So it was kernels here and kernels there popping. And then all of a sudden it's like when it gets to when it's really hot, it's just pop, 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 pop. Yeah. And that's just kind of how everything was birthed. But it was like I was going in a sequential order that I didn't even realize that, I was being led to do. Yeah. But it just all fell in place. And so everything just came together. So that's how it started.
That is such a beautiful story. And I think what stood out the most is you may have had other plans, but it was the people that God was sending along the way to affirm you, like you are really good. Because in your mind, it's like, okay, I'm doing this thing, I can do it. But to have these different people just constantly saying, hey, can you help me with this? Your professor's telling you, you're really good in this area. It's like God was just illuminating the path to show you, I want you in this area, because not only is it going to be a help to so many people, it's going to be a way that you illuminate my light. For me, it's like a ministry, in my opinion, because truly the Web Bar is a ministry of its own. Yeah. And considering that the fact that you've helped so many people, I have this question in mind of, how did you help people shape their brands and visual identities? What's your personal approach to helping someone see their own brilliance? So, two-part question. I'll ask again. You've helped so many people shape their brands and visual identities. And what is your personal approach to helping someone see their own brilliance?
I think listening to people, because everyone has a dream inside, and the dream is usually initiated through their brand. They don't know it. And so the first thing that I do, which is the most effective, is I listen. So I probe every person that I come across, whether it's a client, a friend, or someone who's just asking me questions. I probe. And then I think I have like an innate gift to be able to, I'm a visionary. I know that so sometimes it's like Pharrell has a gift. When he hears music, he sees color. So when people talk to me or communicate, I automatically see visions of how their brand should look. I see colors also, but I see images, and I also hear music with it. I hear sound. So it's like an innate gift to be able to allow someone to communicate with me, and then I can visualize it in my head. And usually I'll ask them things that they love. And then I also ask them can you show me images, like I kind of did with you. Show me images of things that you like. And a lot of clients, especially my male clients, they're like, I have no idea, right? And I was like, well, I have an idea. So then I will, from what I perceive them saying, I find images, and then I present it to them, and then I say, which one do you like? And usually they can select something that I gave them, something from what I gave them. Yeah. And so it usually aligns. But the biggest thing is listening to people and them giving them a pathway to their dream. So I always tell my clients, it's my job to bring your vision to life.
Yeah, that is beautiful and such a gift. When you gave the analogy of Pharrell, I thought about Joe Malone. And just the gift that she's had with fragrances, and just having a nose, or just that keen sense of like smell. And so it's so intriguing, and just a powerful, to me, just thought and gift of the ways that we can I guess catapult into our calling or purpose, by knowing the innate gifts that we have. Yeah. I mean, it's like me. I feel like I've always been drawn to people in a way that is second nature for me to encourage them, right? And so being in this dynamic, it's like this feels like second nature. Like I'm just talking to people, encouraging them, and then getting encouraged at the same time. So what a beautiful
you do
thing.
that so naturally.
I thank you, Kelly. Yes. I appreciate that. So fashion. What does fashion represent for you beyond just clothing?
So fashion is, to me, self-expression. And there's so many ways that you can express yourself through fashion. And it can be cultural, because a lot of garments, like African garments or Indian garb, or Asians, they use fashion to express their culture. And it's also a part of your mood, how you're feeling. If you want to be like relaxed, you put on a more relaxed look. So I think it's a form of outward expression in how you feel inwardly. I think for women, we can be chic one day, we can be glamorous, we can be laid back. For males, they can be very professional. They can be very sporty. So I think just clothes are an outward expression of how you feel inside and what you're feeling for that day, particular day. Yeah. But I love to delve in it because it's so limitless, right? And it can, and sometimes you can have the worst day, and you can put on like the the baddest outfit, and it gives you confidence.
Yeah.
Right? You put on your best outfit, you put on your best suit, you get up, you put your red lips on, and you move forward.
Yes.
Regardless of what you're going through, right?
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of people say, you don't look like what you're going through, right?
Yeah.
So fashion has a way of just bringing out the best in you if you use it that way.
And listen, I've told you this before, but for those of you guys who don't know Kelly, when I tell you she is the epitome of every sense of the word fashionista, like every time I see her, it could be on a day where it's just like, she's just, the day we met and we were just working over some of the material for the website. And we're just going to grab a bite to eat, but it was a Saturday. Kelly came through like she was about to go to New York Fashion Week. And I'm like, every time I see you, you are slaying. Okay, so thank you for that, because when we show up, it inspires other women. I mean, other people, or in general, just people in general. I said women, but people in general, to just put on our best selves. Present the best versions of ourselves. And so thank you for always looking so chic.
Oh, thank you.
So put together, because it truly inspires me for sure.
Yeah.
And considering that, just how we take care of ourselves, I want to go into the subject or our topic of womanhood and self-care. You're divorced, but you're glowing.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've embraced a season of becoming. What has this chapter taught you?
So much. I really learned my self-worth through the divorce. Not that I didn't know it before, but I learned it in a deeper level.
Yeah.
And I really learned what I deserved. And I learned that there were some things that I was missing. Some things that I just did not know. I was not taught. But I hated to learn that much from that experience. But it taught me what I deserved. And it taught me who I am. And it also gave me, divorce is not for the weak at heart. It taught me how strong I am. And it taught me really how much God loves me and how he can redeem my story. So I basically learned how not to settle anymore.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does self-care look like for you now versus then?
Self-care now is so much of my mental health. Versus then, I did not realize how much your mental health comes to play when it comes to healing. And self-care, of course, it's great spa days, it's taking care of yourself, but it's more the internal.
Yeah.
Self-care is very internal, and I learned that, and sometimes you have to go in.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that you're okay inside. So it took therapy. It's taken, and it's taught me how to select not just guys, but women differently, and what to look for. Like I was talking to a lady last Saturday, and she says, listen, if it doesn't calm your nervous system, I can't be around it. So that's self-care to me. Yes. When I feel it initially, if it doesn't feel comfortable, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I have to take care of myself. I have to make sure that I protect my space.
Yeah.
And I have to make sure that, peace is always my barometer. So if I don't feel peaceful about something, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
Because the cost is too expensive. That's what I learned.
I hear that.
The cost is too expensive not to. So it's a no, it's okay. And it's no judgment, but that's just not healthy for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you open to love again? And what would that love feel like this time around?
Of course, I'm open to love again. I was reading Colossians last Saturday, and one thing that stood out for me is that the most beautiful garment is love. The most beautiful garment that you can wear is love. And so to me, and honestly, that's always, it's the epitome of my value system. Love is the most important thing to me. There's nothing, money will come, your job will come, your independence will come, but if love is not in the root of everything that I do, then you have nothing without love. So absolutely, I am open to love. And love this time should be very peaceful. It should be calm, and it should be equally yoked. It should be aligned with my value system, and it should be kind and gentle. But most of all, it should be generous. It should be forgiving, and it should be the answer to my prayers.
You guys hear that? She is open to love. This beautiful woman has given you what she is in need of. And so if you are watching or listening and you feel like, you know what, that is my that is my wife, you make sure that at the end when she give you the details on how to reach her, you reach her. Okay, we're going to go into the instructors table.
Okay.
I have personally had the opportunity to witness Kelly and that dynamic, and it was the most relaxing, peaceful, that environment, just seeing you interact with your students was just like, wow, like this is what the younger generation needs. So what inspired you to become an educator in the first place?
Honestly, it was my grandmother. And when I graduated from college, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to be in outside sales, and I'm going to wear business suits, and I'm going to just have a lot of freedom. And my grandmother, who was an educator, and she founded V.V. Reed. She was the director of V.V. Reed Kindergarten. And she also has a building named after her. She built a private elementary school here in Greenville. She founded the private elementary school. She has a building named after her, the Ruth C. Simon Family Life Center. So she was an educator all her life. And she says, okay, Kelly, you can go and go into business, but you're going to be an educator. It's in you. It's who you are. And so I'm going to tell you a funny story. So I got a chance once I got out of college. That was my first job. I was in outside sales. I would sell T1 systems for businesses. And I cried every Sunday because I hated to go to work. So I hated to go to work, and they gave me 6 notices to fire me. 6. And they said, we love you. You are the best person, but you cannot sell. And for the month of October, I remember that year, don't do any cold calls. Don't try to find any businesses. Go find yourself a job, because this is not it. And so my girlfriend sent me this book. She was living in California at the time, and she said, Kelly, every time I communicate with you about your job, you seem in such distress. She said, I'm going to send you this book. It was called What Color is Your Parachute? And so I was like, when she sent me the book, it was like this big. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to read that. So when they told me, they let me go. And and even after they let me go, I went back for Thanksgiving dinner. My dad was like, who gets fired and goes back for Thanksgiving dinner? I mean, we just had great rapport. But anyway, I was a member of the chamber. This was when I was in Georgia. I was a member of the chamber, and so I would do the ribbon cuttings with the business and those things. So I learned the business aspect of it. But long story short, I got a chance to read that big book because I had time. Mm-hmm. But everything kept leading back to teaching. And I said, my grandmother had to have her hand in this, right? Mm-hmm. She promised me, she said, okay, go ahead, and do business, but you will definitely be an educator. And so literally every test that I took, everything kept leading back to teaching. And so it's 21 years and I've been teaching, but it's like I'm not even, I remember when I first started, it fulfilled such a passion. Yeah. And I had no idea. It was like I wasn't working. It was just like I was going to have fun every day because I loved it that deeply. Yeah. But the good thing about it is I was still able to mix business with education because I teach business courses.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you still have like the love of both worlds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you think about your legacy as an educator, what do you hope people remember most?
I hope they remember how I made them feel.
Oh.
So people will never remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And has always been my objective or my goal to make my students feel special and make them feel valued. So I want them to remember how I intentionally tried to make them feel valued.
I think that you answered the next question. The next question was, what's one lesson you hope every student carries with them after leaving your classroom? So
I hope another lesson is that a lot of society teaches us follow money. Like everything has to be based upon money. And I teach them, follow your passion and the money will come. You may have to find different avenues for money. You may have to have like a separate business but if money does not make you happy, but your passion is fulfilling. Yes. Now, money has its perks.
Right.
Yes. So money can make a lavish lifestyle. It can help you. And of course, we all need money. But I believe, and from my personal journey, money has followed because I've always followed my passion first.
that is some great advice.
Yes. So
Great
it's like money pursues you if you pursue your passion. If you are aligned with your identity and you're aligned with your personal value system.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Do you believe creative expression can be healing?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
How do you integrate that into the classroom?
Well, I believe it's connected through your passion. So in my class, everything is creative because I'm a creator and I'm a visionary, and everything is project-based. And so a lot of my students, my goal is to help them find their way and help them find a pathway that is aligned with their value system and aligned with their passion. So I believe when they find that it's like a connection or alignment, then it's like that aha moment.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what I wanted to do. And honestly, Ashley, I wish that when I was in high school, we had teachers that would help you find your career path of what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because when I was in college, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I was just kind of just taking the courses and following the path that my parents or my grandmother said that I had to do. But it wasn't aligned with my purpose. Like I said, I had to go through, being fired at a job to find my passion. But I wouldn't change anything. But I just, these students now are really finding their career paths. But I'm very intentional about that.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. What a blessing you are to those students. Like, really.
Oh, thank you.
Soulful living. What's one of your go-to mantras or affirmations? Or scriptures?
I would say my go-to is do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. So if you put the work in and put the time in, then it opens a floodgate of pathways for you to live the life that you desire.
Yeah. Simplistic but profound, for sure. What's something most people don't know about you?
Oh, gosh. Something that they don't know about me is that I really love horses. And the reason why I love horses. And so taking you back to Charlotte, when I lived in Charlotte, horses help me overcome fear. And so that's why they're so significant to me. And one day it was a group of friends, guys and girls. We all went horseback riding in Charlotte. And I was definitely afraid to get on this horse because I don't like heights. And so all my friends like, Kelly, you can do it. You can get on this horse. And I was like, no, I'm not getting on there. You know, I'm like giving everybody pause. And so I got on that horse, but I was so afraid. And once I got on that horse for the first time, it was the most exhilarating experience that I had ever. It was so freeing riding that horse. And so I used that as kind of like a mantra for my life.
Yeah.
Like, even though things are so fearful and they seem so fearful, everything is on the other side of fear.
Yes.
And it's so freeing, it's so liberating.
Yes.
And so that's probably, no one knows why. Some people may know that I love horses, but they don't know exactly why. They don't know that story.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
And not only, and you talk about me, you know, earlier you mentioned about like how I go in depth. That's the kind of stuff that we need, you know, like just the meat and potatoes.
Right.
Okay?
Yes,
so
yes.
thank you for sharing that, because I think that just the message behind it is just overcoming fear, and how the things that we are fearful of, if we embrace it, you know, of course, using your, you know, common sense, but some things can truly help us to overcome the fears that we have if we just truly face it head on. So what
Right.
a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing
Yes.
that. What is one of your self-care non-negotiables?
I think I said it earlier, if it doesn't bring me peace, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I use it as my barometer. So peace is my barometer or compass. It has to be peaceful.
Yeah.
If I don't feel comfortable, it's a no. It's
Yeah.
a no for me. So, and that's just to take care of Kelly, right? Take care of my mental health, my emotional health, and to ensure that I'm making the best decisions for my life. Because it, like I said, it's too expensive not to.
Absolutely. What does grace mean to you now?
Oh, grace is so sovereign, and it is how I live. Everybody deserves a second chance. And taking judgment off the table and understanding the why. So people can do stuff to you, and even you know, I do stuff, and I'm like, Kelly, just give yourself grace.
Yeah.
You know, if you knew better, you do better. And sometimes you know better, but you still don't do it. So keep getting up, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think that grace is just taking the judgment off and the condemnation. And I think with people especially, understanding why. So communication is huge in giving grace. And giving people a second chance. I know you have to have boundaries. That's very important. But people do stuff, but it's based upon their fears. It's based upon the things that they struggle with, and you have no idea. Yeah. And so I try to look through those lenses, especially with dealing with clients or dealing with my students or dealing with anyone. We all deserve grace. We all deserve grace. And sometimes I can look at someone and say, they did da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, Kelly, what'd you do? Right? So I have to look inside too. Or when did I mess up and I really needed some grace? Because we all mess up too. And we all need grace. So grace is just the kindness of forgiveness.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So as we wrap this episode up, I have a couple things before we do that. And the first thing is the name of the podcast is Becoming Her. And I believe that is name, I've given it that name because I believe that we are constantly evolving and becoming. And with that in mind, what would you say to the woman who's listening and who is currently in a season of transition, heartbreak, or self-discovery?
I would say, sis, it's a process. Right, but you will get there. I would say prayer first, and then surround yourself with women. If it's a girlfriend, surround yourself with women who love you and who are positive and who are kind and gracious, because that's your strength. Like your network, that circle, it's so, you need your family and you need your friends when you're going through hard times, and we all go through hard times.
Yeah.
But I would say those two things are essential. And then, you know, we all go through things, but the resilience that we have, there's a lesson in it. Learn the lesson, and you can get up. Yeah. Yes, because we've all been there.
Absolutely.
We've all been there.
And I want you to look in the camera, and I want you to finish the sentence. A woman who is becoming is?
A woman who is becoming is a woman who is growing.
I love that.
Yes.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I want to make sure that all of our listeners know how to connect with you. So whether they want to support your classroom or collaborate with you creatively or hire you for branding, web design, how can they get in touch with you and stay connected?
So my website is webbardesigns.com, and that's designs with an S. And the name of my company is the Web Bar. Yes.
Beautifully.
And I'm also on all social media platforms.
Kelly, thank you so much again for being here. This conversation was so delightful, so needed, so nourishing. And I pray that every person that hears it receives something that is empowering, something that will help them get to the next level. And again, thank you for being here. I know that Kelly will be on the show again, so this is not the last time that you guys will see this gorgeous face. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time, keep growing and keep becoming. Bye for now.
Everything I love, who I